Hello. I guess everyone agrees that Breaking Bad is, if not the greatest series of all time, but at least one of the best due to it has a great, solid storyline and smart, strong characters. Personally, I think Heisenberg has a nearly perfect arc. I'm saying nearly just because nothing's perfect. Actually, all the Breaking Bad characters have decent and completed arcs, so that you believe in them and feel with them. The plot is so well written that nothing in that story seems irrelevant, everything fits excellently. And something I really love about Breaking Bad, every season is better than the previous one, which 96% of TV series lack. So I was really excited about El Camino. I can't find proper words to describe my condition when I saw that Netflix trailer. I was like a kid who just had a conversation with Santa Claus. Well, I was eager to watch El Camino. So I did that. A few days ago I watched El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie, and it's
Disappointing.
No, of course, it's not disappointing, it's complicated. I can't say it's bad, neither can I say it's great nor even fine. It's just complicated. I know it might hurt you, but I'm not intended to do so. Just hear me out. I love Breaking Bad, I really do, but I can't ignore the problems of El Camino. Well, to say something comforting, if you're a fan of Breaking Bad, then I believe you loved El Camino, or you should love it if you haven't watched it yet. And yeah, by the way, spoilers ahead, and I apologize for my accent. I put subtitles in case you can't comprehend me, and I'm sorry for I am to make some mistakes during my talking. So, as I said, you love original Breaking Bad, you are to love El Camino. That is actually the biggest problem. El Camino isn't self-sufficient movie, it's not okay without Breaking Bad background. The audience is supposed to know Jesse and all the characters except for a few newcomers, among which is only Neil is some of the importance to the story, and a crazy like Vietnam veteran Lou. Yeah, he isn't really important for the story, but I like him. Anyway, there is only Neil to consider and he's supposed to be the antagonist, I guess. At that point, it's also a problem. We'll talk about that later, now let's look at the old school. Jesse. I love him, he is a magnificent and strong character, one of the best in movie industry, provided we're talking about the whole Breaking Bad story. In El Camino alone, I wouldn't say that. What we know about him, he escaped from a captivity, criminal gang kept him in a cage, but someone called Heisenberg killed them for some unknown reason, so Jesse had a chance to run away. All of that we learn from TV news. Then, from flashbacks, we learn what Jesse experienced during the captivity. That experience explains Jesse's decisions that he makes in El Camino. He is given in to, as Jesse thinks, policeman, because he was broken already, so he is not willing to fight anymore. However, those guys turn out to be scavengers, so Jesse has to share money, and that's why further Jesse can't pay for Hoover Max start over service. So, Jesse tries to get the missing money amicably, not $1 more than he needs, just 18 grand, because as we learn from the flashback,
I'm out.
he is not into bloody business anymore, though he had to kill anyway. And here's the question, why he was so solid and tough in killing Neil and his friend, and also why he was tough in Todd's apartment. We know where Jesse's weakness come from, but we don't know where his strength and balls come from. It seems that Jesse gets strong just accidentally. There is nothing in the film that causes any changes in his character. There aren't even flashbacks to show why Jesse has balls. In general, Jesse in El Camino is okay character who has an obvious motivation to escape from police and get new ID, but we don't learn much about him. We can't understand some of his actions, we don't know much about his relationship with parents, we don't know why they want him to turn in, we don't know why Jesse doesn't believe them, why he didn't leave a message to them and who's that broke he wrote instead. I know all of that fits perfectly in original story, but El Camino it's a film, it's written in the title. And as for a film character, Jesse isn't convincing. Flashbacks are the lazy way to write a character. It could be a story how broken Jesse was overcoming the external fight on whether he should give up and turn in or keep on fighting for a new life, for a start over, while becoming stronger and stronger. There is a hint for that core in the film, but it's not written how Jesse struggles through that conflict. All his decisions, as I said, are explained by flashbacks. Jesse's story in the film can be perceived only as the expansion of the original story. But the point is that it could have been a self-sufficient, strong story with a smart character. It could have had a unique value, and I believe that Vince Gilligan was capable of creating that, but alas, the El Camino's Jesse is nothing without the original Jesse. The same with Badger and Skinny. In original series they had nice arcs and stories, but in El Camino they are just there. I mean, yeah, there are friends, but not any friends would help a criminal comrade in such situation. So the question is...
Why are you doing all this? Dude, you're my hero and shit.
Okay, he's your hero, but why is he? It's not explained in the story. New audience knows nothing about their previous relationship. The worst part is that if it wasn't for the original Breaking Bad, Skinny and Badger could be substituted. Seriously, there isn't any other reason for them to be in that exact place of El Camino's story. They even didn't have enough time to show their charisma and charming personalities. As for the antagonist, he's supposed to be the main obstacle for Jesse, as the inner fight isn't the core conflict in the story. Then the antagonist must take the responsibility and become something that main character should overcome. According to the tools of screenwriting by David Howard and Edward Mobley, there must be obstacles to keep the character from achieving easily whatever he or she wants. If it is easy to save the life, win the race, or paint the picture, the audience says, so what? Thus, the antagonist should be very hard to win, not impossible, but individually hard for the protagonist. Unfortunately, it's not the case with Neil. Jesse didn't have much trouble to win him. Jesse wins him in moral fight at Todd's apartment and then wins at Neil's own place without much struggling. Yeah, Neil tried his best, but in the film he feels just like wannabe badass criminal. All he has is spooky face and harsh words. He could have been convincing antagonist if he had won Jesse at Todd's apartment and took all the money with him so that Jesse had some trouble getting them back. Neil is okay for a pass-by antagonist, like those guys Jesse tried to kill in the third season. However, he is too weak for a film antagonist, hardly enough for the additional episode which in fact El Camino is. In general, the whole story of El Camino isn't special in any aspect, except only for it is the part of Breaking Bad. It feels there wasn't enough space for the film. I was kind of surprised when credits appeared. I didn't get it on the spot. I had a question strike in my mind. Is that all? I couldn't understand that it ended. I didn't have the feeling that it was completed and full like it was with the original Breaking Bad. El Camino's story isn't a story at all. Story should have drama, but El Camino without background doesn't have it. El Camino is not the film. It's the addition to the original Breaking Bad series, like postscriptum. Even considering that fact, I feel like there is a wasted potential. At least there could be some perspective on Heisenberg, on the Nazi gang. Instead, there is only extensional perspective on Todd's character, which is nice indeed, but doesn't feel satisfying. El Camino doesn't feel satisfying. It just reminds you of those times spent on watching Breaking Bad, but doesn't give you anything unique. I don't want to lower the value of that movie. It's really nice to have it. I'm glad it's out, it's shot well, you can't argue that it's a visual masterpiece and it's really pleasant to watch. However, El Camino is like a dessert which cannot be served without the main dish.